Hello, Happy New Year and welcome to Diecast Restos. I'm Jason and I'm kicking off 2024 with what will probably be the first of many Lone Star castings to feature on the channel this year. This is a Lone Star FLYERS number 36 Lotus Europa. It was one of two new castings to appear in the FLYERS series when it replaced the Impy range in 1969. These had opening doors and an opening engine cover. All Europas were painted bright or a darker yellow or orange. They could be found with or without the red stripe decals like this example here. Here is a real Lotus Europa. There's not a comprehensive list of variations that I could find regarding Lone Star's models, but from images I've seen, variations included the chrome disc or Rostyle lookalike wheels and interior colour variations of red or blue plastic. The castings were in production from 1969 to 1976 when the FLYERS line was discontinued. It did make a reappearance between 1979 and 1984 in the new Impy range, but these had their opening features cast shut and blacked out windows to conceal the lack of interior. Chrome trim was applied to the FLYERS castings in varying quantities. I've seen models with headlights and front bumpers painted in, while the entire rear panel including the bumper, light cluster and registration plate can be filled in too. For mine, I'll be doing all of these except I will trim the rear panel a little more realistically. I'll also colour the tail lights in red. With their Grand Prix racing backgrounds, Lotus noticed that while mid-engine Formula racers was the norm, almost no road cars used this arrangement. The Europa was designed to be a volume production two-seater mid-engine sports coupe built at low cost. It had a lightweight chassis with a fibreglass body, borrowing techniques Lotus had earlier used with the Elan. Lotus founder Colin Chapman was keen to diversify from the Ford components Lotus frequently relied on, so a light and modern 1470cc engine from a Renault 16 was used. It was modified for Lotus's purposes, getting a higher compression ratio, larger inlet valves, revised valve timings and a twin-barrel carburettor. Power therefore jumped from 63 horsepower to 82. In 1971, Lotus offered the optional Lotus-Ford Twin-Cam engine that had previously been used in the Elan. This produced 105 horsepower. Production began on the Series 1 Europa in 1966. Only 296 examples of the S1 were built. These had fixed windows, fixed seats with tool adjustable pedals, no door handles or internal door covers, and an aluminium dashboard. There were around 350 S1A and Bs made, which had removable side windows, a wooden dash, and internal door panel covers that could accommodate the windows when removed. Series 1B cars had rectangular rear light clusters. The Series 2 Europa was introduced in 1968 with much refinement. It had electric windows, adjustable seats, a carpeted interior, and a polished wooden fascia for the dash. The body was now bolt fastened to the frame instead of being bonded, which improved the repairability of the car. S2s received larger door handles over the S1's push button operation in 1969. In total, Lotus produced 3,615 Europa S2s, including a number of so-called federalised cars for the US. The Twin-Cam Type 74 Europa was made available in 1971. This had improved rear visibility in addition to the bigger and more powerful Lotus-Ford engine. The famous John Player special livery was adopted on an initial 100 Europas in 1972 in honour of the Formula 1 team's World Championship title win that year. John Player Special were the team's sponsor with their distinctive black and gold pinstripe livery. I plan to do a Matchbox Europa in this livery in the near future. Let me know in the comments how much you want to see that. Production of the Europa ended in 1975 with a total of 9,230 cars built. Lotus did revive the name briefly between 2006 and 2010. This model was known as the Europa S and was a GT car based on the Elise. It had more cabin space due to a higher roofline and greater soundproofing over the Elise. 458 S and SE Europas were made. As for my Europa, I'm just about finalising the build. All of the parts are neatly inserted into the cast metal body, with the base lowered over the top and screwed in to secure it all. So here then is how my Lone Star Flyers Lotus Europa formerly looked. It was missing all 4 wheel hubs and had an ill-fitting engine cover. The paintwork was pretty scratched up and the interior plastic and window piece a little dirty. I had some spare Flyers wheels going, but they were in an awful state. I'm not terribly pleased with how they turned out, but I will simply replace them when I get a better looking set. That's the beauty of a Flyer. I'm really happy with the yellow paint on this. I think it's come out looking very close to the original shade. I've added in the full trim detailing, plus a little extra for the badge and a hint of colour for the tail lights. The interior has been washed and the window piece polished. As I said earlier, I hope to soon revisit a Europa, giving a Matchbox version the John Player Special livery. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see that. Also, leave your thoughts on this Lone Star version. I think proportionally, compared to some older Impy castings, it is pretty accurate. But with its soft suspension, it perhaps rides just a touch too high. If I remember, I'll try to compare this and the Matchbox version when I get round to doing that video. But if you've enjoyed this build, please let me know by leaving a like and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Most of you watching aren't. Anyway, all that leaves me to say is thanks for watching, and I'll see you again for the next one. Bye for now.